Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on the export structure. So on the previous videos we had a look at creating the comp containers and how we could go into a node graph to work with them and do our compositing and how our versioning system worked. Now I want to show you what is behind the hood and what is the backbone of Nuke Studio. That is the export structure that will allow us to define what we want to export, where we want to export it, and what those files are. So when we do the create comp option, what is happening is we are using the export structure to create those files. So let me show you the export structure. So if you go to File and Export, this is your export panel and where all this is created. So what it is it allowed us to select a type of process that we're going to do based on a preset, and we're going to set where we're going to save those files and what are those files and export it. So in the case of create comp, we are actually processing this as shots. So that means that we can export each clip or the clip that we have selected for our compositing jobs separately. We can also do this as sequence, and we'll have a look at this in the next video when we export the whole show. So we can export the whole thing out to share with the editorial or with the grading department or for our client review as a full QuickTime or as a DPX sequence or anything like that. But let's go back into the shots and let's get a basics of what this panel is and how it works. So what we're going to do is we're going to read this from the top left to bottom right. What you have at the top is what we're going to do. So we are processing as shots, so each clip at a time. Which preset? So what am I going to do? And that is going to define my structure or folders that I'm going to create and where those files are going to go. So in this case, I'm using the basic Nuke shots with annotations, which is the default, so you don't have to do anything out of the box. You have basic Nuke shot and basic Nuke shot with annotations, and you can even transcode to DPXs if you want it. And you can see it's a simpler version as well. What the power of this is this is an automatic way of creating folders and files for me. So I don't have to care about the naming and the stuff. It's going to get all taken care of. So you can see I have some names on brackets. And what that is, it is keywords that will take the names based on the actual files or items that I have on my timeline to create those folders and files. So I can see how I'm creating a folder structure where I'm going to use the name of the shot, then a folder named Nuke, then a folder named script, and inside I'm going to create my Nuke project file. So in here, I can define what things are. So either folders or files, and if they are files, what are they? I can create different type of files, for example, Nuke project files, but I can also transcode to images, as I said before, and I can create DPXs or EXRs or MOP files. But I can create my Nuke files. I can create Nuke write nodes. So where am I going to render? And I'll show you this in a moment. I can create external renders, so know where other people is going to render things, so I can bring them into Nuke Studio very easily using a build track from export structure. And then I can also use the annotation system that we'll cover in another videos. And then we have other options like sim linking, audio export, and copy exported to move files from one place to another. Now, based on what I define here, I have my next section, which is what is that file and what are the properties of that file. So in the case of a Nuke script, I have the option of telling it where am I going to render, for example, which write node I'm going to use, and I'm going to use that write node there. And what are the other settings for that? Now, let me show you when we did the create comp, what happened on the actual drive. So if I actually look at my Finder, you can see that it did exactly the same. So when I created the comp for shot 40, it actually went and created a folder called shot 40, which is that one, same as that. Then a folder called Nuke, same as there. Then scripts, renders, and annotations, and exactly the same, script, renders, and annotations. Inside the scripts, I have my actual Nuke file to do my work with the exact same name. The same, if I go to renders, now I can see that my renders, if you remember when I show you the right node in Nuke, it had the right naming convention. Well, it was defined here, and it's exactly the same file there, right? So that is what is happening when I'm exporting, and when I'm doing the create comp, it's creating these folder structures automatically for me, where I can access those files. Now, here at the bottom, I also have not only the properties for those files, but I have also the properties for what I'm gonna export. So which tracks am I gonna actually export to? Normally it's all tracks, but you can define different tracks if you need to. And the handles of those files. So if I'm doing shots, I'll be doing up to the clip length, so the whole clip, or I could be doing the cut length, so meaning exactly to the cuts of that clip on the timeline. But then I can also include handles, so head and tails to that clip. So if there is any editorial change, I can still slip it or slide it and have that kind of bandwidth to work with. And finally, I have start frame, which allows me to use either the first frame of the clip or do a custom. This is very common in different pipelines, and some companies, they will use 1001 frame range to start their work at. So you can set that up from here. And there you are. That's how the export panel works. So again, you have what you're going to do, where is it going to go, and how is that going to get generated, and what are those files, or what am I exporting. Cool. So that's how the backbone of Nuke Studio works, and I'll see you in the next video where I'll do the final export for the show, and we'll use the export structure as sequences to create our final QuickTimes. I'll see you there.